Well, I'm here in Tulare at Mefford Field, or at least next to Mefford Field at the Avenue 200 off-ramp. They've got this display, been here for many years, with the B17 and an F4 that are dedicated to the airmen that served in World War II and the airmen who served in the Vietnam War. These planes were donated to the Tulare AMVETS by the United States Air Force. It's a really cool display, and we'll go check it out a little bit. So we'll start here with the B17. They've done an awesome job of getting this thing back into shape. It was kind of in disrepair for a few years. The nose cone had been vandalized and broken. They just had a piece of flat plywood over the nose for a few years, and they got that straightened out. They got it all polished up. This is the way that the B-17s looked later in the war, which is when this plane served. Once the Allies had complete air superiority in the European Theatre, which is where this plane served, they didn't need to camouflage the planes anymore. So they took the paint off of them and left them polished up like this. They were a lot lighter, had better airflow. And boy, they looked a lot better too, I think, than the camouflage planes. And they've done a really good job with this one. They just, I don't know, just a few months ago that they got done with it. And I wish this fence wasn't in the way, but obviously the vandals coming out and messing with the planes, disrespectful of their history and of everything when they damaged this plane, so they had no recourse but to put this fence up. It's really a shame. There's almost nothing worse than vandals, especially when they vandalize history. But this is a B-17G. The G's had the nose turret underneath the front of the plane there. This was the last model that they made, and things just bristling with weaponry. That owl right there, they used to have that sitting on, they actually had a couple of them. They set them on the propellers of the plane to keep other birds from coming crapping on it, but I guess after a while the other birds figured all that out. Under the wing down at the ball turret gun. I could not, as claustrophobic as I am, I could not imagine being stationed in there. I'm too tall for it anyway. I think you had to be like under 5'5" or something like that to fit in those guns, but wow. And you're cramped up in there for all those hours of flight. So, and there's a look at the tail guns. These are of course 50 caliber machine guns, and that's another, while that wouldn't be as claustrophobic as the ball turret, it would still be mighty cramped for those. Some of these flights were 6-8 hours long. That'd be a mighty uncomfortable position, frightening. You'd be facing the other way. I can't imagine it. These guys were so brave that did this, and you know, a lot of people say, oh, they didn't have any choice, but they did have choices, and they chose to do this. And anybody that doesn't respect that, you know, I don't respect you. And here we are over at the F4. This is an F4D. These were planes capable of Mach 2 speeds. They had I believe they were J79 engines, big monsters. Back during the Cold War, I grew up in Tehachapi and worked a lot out in the desert. We used to get to see these flying all the time. And I believe to this day that this is the most menacing looking warplane America ever developed. The dihedral wings and the drooping tail fins, this thing just, it looks like it's hauling ass and ready to kick somebody's ass when it's just sitting still. I'm not going to be able to get any shots of it from the front because, as you can see, it's all flooded right there. I'm not going to walk through that. But this was a monster of a plane. Originally it had no machine guns. It actually never did have any machine guns built into the plane. They thought that the future of warfare when they developed this plane was going to be missiles, fighter jets at need, and we started getting our butts kicked in Vietnam by the MiGs that were using machine guns. So they developed a understation pod that had a machine gun on it so these planes could dogfight with machine guns, and that really cut down our losses. But anyway, this plane was brought here in 1994. I'm not sure when the B17 was brought here, but anyway, that is the F4, and it is painted in the Vietnam era camouflage livery. This is the memorial to the airmen who gave their lives from this area in the Vietnam War. A very nice memorial. If you're ever driving through here, when you get to Avenue 200, jump off the freeway and come take a look at this. So that concludes the walk around of two of the greatest warplanes that have ever been made in the history of the world. It bears mentioning that Mefford Field was also used as a training base during World War II. It was called Rankin Field back then, and a little interesting piece of Tulare County history. I hope you all enjoyed it, and leave comments if you have any, as usual, if you have any more ideas. Let me know what you thought of this. Remember to subscribe, share, and everybody have a great day.